should not be allowed to drown out the voices of so many peaceful protesters. They hurt so badly what is happening, and it's so bad for the state and for that great city. So we are working very closely with the Justice Department. We're working with local law enforcement. We're working with everybody, and we're speaking with the family. And hopefully everything can be fairly taken care of. I understand the hurt. I understand the pain. People have really been through a lot. The family of George is entitled to justice, and the people of Minnesota are entitled to live in safety. Law and order will prevail. The Americans will honor the memory of George and the Floyd family. It's very important to us. It's very important to me to see that everything is taken care of properly. It's a horrible, horrible situation.
Funny, Pisces. Hi, Cam. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Stephanie.
So we'll be reporting back in due course and as quickly as possible. I'm pleased to welcome American industry leaders to the White House as we continue to safely reopen America. We're glad to be joined by Jeff Pilati of Wyndham Hotel and Resorts. Wyndham Hotels have been really terrific company over the years. Brian Goldner of Hasbro.
Hey, Diamond.
Dave Hoffman of Dunkin' Brands. Gary Kelly of Southwest Airlines. Really good jobs they've done. Rodney McMullen of Kroger. Thanks, Rodney. Oscar Munoz of United. Thank you, Oscar. United Airlines. Brad Smith of Microsoft. That stock has done very well, I will say. Great job. Great job.
Hey, Danielle.
Sonia Sengal of Gap. And thank you very much. Also with us are Secretary of Treasury Steve Mnuchin and Secretary of Labor Jean Scalia. Our nation continues to mourn for the lives claimed by the virus and grieve for the families who have lost loved ones. We continue to battle the invisible enemy. We're directing the full resources and support of the federal government to safeguard high-risk populations.
It's about time.
Especially in nursing homes. We've been a very powerful strategy on nursing homes for quite a while.
No.
The best strategy for public health is to aggressively protect the most vulnerable while allowing younger and healthier Americans to work safely. Nationwide hospitalizations, new cases, and deaths are all declining. We're tracking cases and hospitalizations daily, and states are demonstrating their ability to rapidly identify and contain new outbreaks. Our testing is the best in the world. We've now surpassed 15 million tests, which is much more than any other country.
Not true. China
by a factor of many times.
No.
We've completed over 15 million. And
is that a factor of 2?
That is
many times?
I think we can say that's a record by a lot.
No, we can't.
And we're going to give you a big report on testing tomorrow. We have new tests coming out that are above and beyond anything that anybody would have thought even possible just a couple of months ago. In many places, we've had more tests available than people seeking them. Florida and others have said that they have
too high.
Testing, and they don't have enough people to take the test. So we've come a long way. We started with an empty cupboard.
Nope.
We didn't have
tests?
A lot that we inherited, and we are, I think really they've stepped up to the plate on ventilators, on tests, and on equipment and gowns and everything else.
Didn't exist.
If you look at
13,000
masks,
ventilators.
Everybody has masks now.
We need N95
to maintain
masks.
the health and
everyone. What happened?
President Trump just speaking on the death of George Floyd. He's now speaking with industry executives about reopening the country. We will monitor that for you and bring it back if he takes questions on the issue. Of course, we'll bring that to you. Major news out of Minneapolis today. The fired police officer who dug his knee into Floyd's neck before he died, now arrested and charged with third-degree murder and manslaughter.
Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin has been charged by the Hennepin County Attorney's Office with murder and with manslaughter. We are in the process of continuing to review the evidence. There may be subsequent charges
Not
later.
C-SPAN.
We can only charge a case when we have sufficient admissible evidence to prove the
See if
case
anyone's
beyond a
covering
reasonable
it.
doubt. As of right now, we have that. I'm not going to speculate today of the other officers. They are under investigation.
So, no one's covering this. Not even Fox. Everyone just jumped away from it, and C-SPAN doesn't have it yet. Let me see if I can dig down deeper on C-SPAN. Sometimes one of their feeds will be showing it. Okay. Oh, wait, did they get the transcript? They got the transcript from Flynn. Interesting. Okay. Well, I'll look at that later. SpaceX, that looks like real SpaceX. Yep, that's not actual live coverage. Give me something live. Nope, this is old. Nothing there. Let's dig down. Governor Newsom, that was already there. Yeah, literally nobody's covering Trump right now. Let's go down here and see if we can find anything on the YouTube TV. You know who'd be covering is OAN. Let's see. Hold on. Hold on, peoples. OANN. One American News Network. Let's see if we can dig that up. Good call, David. Maybe I can get it on Twitter. Thank you for that. Let's go to the Twitters. Yeah, ABC News will be doing it on Twitter. You're absolutely right. Let's go into ABC. Easy as 1, 2, 3. ABC News. If anybody finds it, pop it up here. Okay. They've got Barack Obama. They've got Joe Biden. Like ABC News is not even broadcast. PBS NewsHour will be doing it. Okay, PBS, and we should be able to go back. Let's try NewsHour, see if they're doing it. Okay, and that's all about... Okay, here we go. PBS NewsHour. We got it. Good call. Thinking. Let's click on it and see what it does. We'll dump YouTube TV. We'll dump OAN. We might have to get OAN back. Meanwhile, in reality... Okay. White House feed on YouTube. Check that because the Twitter feed is not working right now. YouTubes.com. Or White House on Twitter. Yeah, Twitter's not cooperating. So let's go to YouTube. There's usually a few live feeds on that. We got a live feed right here. Let's see what it is. Oh, that's me. So that's some good sleuthing right there. Let's go to White House. Come on. There we go. No, that's the Rose Garden. Live? Streamed 2 hours ago. So, ABC News. It's a live stream.
Help me differentiate the word.
That's not it. Okay. Back to the PBS NewsHour. Okay, so the White House feed on here. Thanks, guys. Trying. Okay. Give me the video. No, where's the live feed? This is... Okay, here we go. Live. They're literally posting during a live
apparel
feed.
brand in the U.S.
Well,
So, you know,
Okay.
we have serviced American families for our 51 years, and these brands represent the best of American values, and we're anxious to get going and anxious to open up the economy. We have 2,500 stores here in the U.S., and we've begun the opening process. You know, prior to COVID, we had over 1 million American customers walking through our doors every day.
Wow.
And
This
so
is
when
the
we
CEO of
shut
the Gap.
in March, we lost 70% of our sales overnight. And we reacted very quickly. We had to make really big, unfortunate decisions to furlough employees and to retrench. We did have a very strong and powerful e-commerce business, so we're the second largest e-com player
She's speaking
for
Trump's
apparel,
language.
and that's really kept us going along with our fulfillment centers. We have 5 big campuses across the U.S. And so that's been great. We have, you know, over 100,000 employees that we're anxious to really bring back to work. We, you know, we've developed these safe shopping protocols with industry leaders in retail, and we feel really good about them. We're anxious to reopen our stores with these protocols and have been excited about what's happening so far as we've opened. Our employees feel safe, our customers feel safe, and they're coming back to shop with us. And so we are committed to opening at least 8.
Yeah, typically these news conferences are fairly boring, and he can go on for an hour doing this, and then he'll take some questions, and they'll probably come back for that. But they say things, and things like this, she's talking about this, and then he'll ask a dumb question or make a stupid joke and move on to the next one.
And I've visited our stores in Texas and Arizona, California over the last couple of weeks, and our customers are thrilled to be back. Our employees are thrilled to be back. In fact, one of our store managers came up to me and burst into tears, thanking me for giving her job back. You know, it's a really very important thing. And as much as the
Trump will
government's
talk
helped,
about that.
our employees want to be back. So
He's going to be talking.
that feels great.
People who've never cried before
1 in 4 Americans work in retail, as you know.
Gap.
So this is now my time to ask what we need. And during this closure process, half of retail stayed open.
Oh, she's
and half
asking
of
for
retail's
something.
been shut. So we've really created this lack of level playing field, you know, the haves and the have-nots. And
Yeah,
you
it's
know, as we
already
look
happening,
forward
Chris.
and as we think about a
Companies are already
possibility of a
slashing.
resurgence or something, we
I
must
just
stay
heard about something
committed to
yesterday,
the
but it was
safe
from a
retailing
personal friend, so I
protocols
can't tell you guys,
and
but
really stay there.
a lot of
and-
this was
and
already
work through
coming
any future
before
issues
coronavirus.
with that, so we
But
can
Trump
have
can
a
now
level
use
playing field.
coronavirus
So
as an excuse.
I look forward to working
Thank
with you.
you,
And
Sonia.
Secretary
But the
Mnuchin has
economy
been
was only at
fantastic to work with.
2.1%
He's done a great
GDP.
job. Thank you,
Manufacturing
Sonia.
was in
Appreciate it.
contraction.
Thank you, Mr. President. I
Oh,
really
good,
want to
Mnuchin.
thank everybody, and Sonia, thank you for all
Said
the work
no one
you've done
ever.
and everyone else. I do want to just particularly thank Gary and Oscar. As part of the GARES Act, we've worked with both of you and the rest of the airline industry. I know many of the businesses here have been hit very hard, but the travel industry in particular, and we appreciate everything you've done with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oscar, please.
Oh,
That's a
that's
heck of a
quick.
lead
Good.
in.
Must be
Thank you as
Friday
well.
afternoon.
Thank you. The CARES Act was great, and everybody that was involved. Larry, you were terrific as well in the waning moments. You know our story, so I won't belabor it.
Good.
I have 2 slides, really one, just to give you a sense of the things that we're doing. One of the most conversed discussions going, are airplanes safe? Is flying safe? And I think that's of paramount importance. We've always been one of the, if not the safest
for you,
industry
Lizzie.
in the world. And so some of the things that we're doing,
Fun fact, I still don't have any unemployment.
the hydrostatic testing that disinfects, wiping everything down, the wearing of masks for everyone. We were one of the first to be able to do that. Touchless aspects. Our customers get a chance to choose where they sit. The HEPA filters on our aircraft. I think it's important for the flying public to understand.
It's
These HEPA
guacamole
filters
from
are
Chipotle?
hospital-grade filters
take
that
that back.
remove
Nothing from Chipotle is probably
99.7%
safe to
of
eat.
particles in the air. The
No,
combination
it's
of
Chipotle.
the filter
It should be
and the
okay.
mask that we're wearing should completely eliminate, to a great degree, the aspect that if we practice all the other things. And so we're working through all of that. But again, it feels like we're always talking into the wind with regards to that. So we took it a step further and have partnered with different people, Clorox in particular, right? It's a brand name that speaks of powerful disinfectant, and that branding aspect gives it a little bit of sense. And then we went a step further and used Cleveland Clinic, to guide us and direct us. Here are the things that we're planning on doing. Is that meaningful? It's like having Ambassador Birx at our side to sort of support those things. So those are the things that we're doing with regards to our safety. On the next chart, your question is how do we restart the economy? If I can get the next chart, please. The first one's obvious, and I think we've all been talking in the business community. It isn't just about airlines flying. People have to go someplace and fly somewhere, right? The hotels of the world, the hospitals, the restaurants, the theme parks, all of that has to be collectively. And I think everything we do as a business and as a government is to ensure that we take everybody into account and not forget the fact that airlines are only part of it. And so that's an important part. And then again, from a health perspective, I don't know that there's another nation that has more powerful pull back to branding than the U.S. Anything that comes out of the U.S. is going to be accepted. So thank you for the efforts. Ambassador was wonderful at those conversations. And then lastly, and this is the big ask from our perspective, we are global. We fly over 60 countries. And this isn't a China question. This is the general aspect of when the world restarts to fly. It's historically every government, every country will have its own regulatory scheme to start flying. That is called patchwork. That is not harmonization. In order to get the economy going and flowing from a perspective of the entire planet, it's important that we work with your teams to get that harmonization and avoid patchwork. So thank you again for everything.
And that his
Thank you,
teams
Oscar.
work with other
Appreciate it. You've been very
countries.
much a factor in what we've done. You've been
Because he's
really
never
helpful.
critical of other
Appreciate
countries.
it.
So good job
Larry Kudlow,
building
please.
relationships.
To everybody who's come here
Oh,
and
here comes
worked
the
with
Cud.
us. And I hope everything continues apace. You know, we try to follow, Kevin Hassett and I try to follow these high-frequency economic indicators, and my little list is growing. I'll just rattle it off because as things open safely, I say that because Deb is here, truckloads, freight shipping,
Safely.
air travel, hotel bookings, TSA travelers, all starting to shoot up. They're really green shoots.
From
you
an
mentioned the stock
89%
market,
drop.
sir, which has done very well. Apple Mobility, gasoline demand, tremendous housing demand. Applications for mortgages and so forth are actually now pre-pandemic levels again with low interest rates.
Yeah, the low interest
And
rates.
we had number today from the
news
income
today,
report.
Josh?
The
China's to
saving
blame
rate,
for
sir,
everything.
is 33% for the month of April. 33%, which is to say we've given them a lot of income. Government income has boosted things, liquidity, cash, and so forth. Stephen's great efforts on Capitol Hill. And, of course, the stores have been closed. They have nowhere to spend, so they're saving at a 33% rate.
Yeah,
That's
because
almost 10
we
times
know
the
this
norm.
could go on a while,
So that,
and the
my final
Republicans could
point,
cut us off.
as we open and as the stores open, we are going to see a boom.
Maybe that's what I'm doing.
spending.
Maybe because I haven't received
I think
any
so.
unemployment
I
yet,
agree.
I'm
I think
saving.
Starting to see it.
Yes,
I haven't
You're gonna
spent
be
any
very,
of my unemployment.
People are going
Not
to
a
be very
penny.
surprised. We're going to have a great
Kevin Lee Daughter hasn't.
third quarter, a great fourth quarter. I think next year is going to
Transition
be
to
one of our
greatness.
better years. So that's really.
This is going to be
thank
one of
you
our
very
better
much,
years.
Yes, sir.
So Jay Clayton is the head of the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, and
2020,
he's done a fantastic
one
job.
of our better
and
years,
I thought
President
maybe
Trump.
I'd invite him up, and you could say a few words if you'd like, Jay.
Thank you, Mr. President. What I'm going to say is I appreciate the information that your companies have given us today.
Turn his mic on.
Investors want to understand the operational and financial challenges you're facing. The more they understand them,
Can we give him a mic?
whether good or bad, the more your plans are
No.
solid for
Does he
overcoming,
have a mic?
the more confidence they have, and our markets work better.
Somebody
I'd
want to
be
reach
remiss
over
if I
and.
didn't thank Secretary Mnuchin.
Oh, he has no mic. They just didn't give him a mic.
Supported our markets.
Here's your glass. Here's your
I
notepad.
really want to thank
No, no microphone.
the many companies who've been very candid.
I'm sorry, but Michael J. Fox is looking old.
That's what our investors expect. I think you've done a terrific job giving our investors what they expect. And I look forward to continuing.
I feel proud about it, Trish. Because
Thank
there's
you
been
very
times
much.
when I've wanted to,
Thank
you
you.
know, eat.
Southwest Airlines, what a great company. Go ahead.
Well, thanks, Mr. President. It's a
he
pleasure
gets
to
a
be
mic.
here on behalf of
Voila-dee-da.
all the Southwest people, and my name is Gary Kelly, and again, I want to thank you. I want to thank Secretary Mnuchin. The CARES Act was exactly what we needed. The speed and the scope were just absolutely breathtaking. Before, the markets were closed, and after that, the markets opened up, and we've been able to do a significant amount of financing, so thank you. It was just the right thing for our economy. I'll just echo what several have already said in terms of the business. We got down to about 2% of the normal traffic volumes and are up well beyond that, thank goodness. We're not there, but I'll take 15% as opposed to 2. So we've got a long way to go, but the trends are in the right direction. I think what is important is to make sure
the trends
that
are in the
our
right direction
employees and
from
our
2%.
customers know that it is safe.
That's
And
here.
that is our number one priority, to make sure that we have a healthy and safe environment. Again, I'll echo a lot of what
That's
Oscar
putting a
has already
spin on
covered.
things.
But we
I like
published the
Southwest,
Southwest Promise in early May, and it addresses cleaning of the airport, deep cleaning of the airplane. We require masks of our customer-facing employees as well as our customers. We are not booking the airplanes full so that the middle seats are open to allow for physical distancing. And it's a layered approach. The one thing that we would like to see, and I know that the administration is looking very carefully at this, is to add a health screening at the TSA checkpoint. I think a temperature check like we had today coming into the White House would be very sensible, along with a health declaration. And we're working closely with the TSA on that point. I think beyond that, I think ongoing
Middle seats open until July 31st. What's going to happen after that? Are we done with the virus then? Is it take? I thought it was April, but yeah. Okay, July 31st now. So the virus got a extension.
Back on their feet, that could be something worth looking at. And I think for all of us, some sensible form of liability protection, which I know is also a topic, would make great sense. But
this
we
is
applaud
the worst year,
all that
Rich.
the administration is doing. I think the key
2016
indeed
out
is
of
to
the water.
get
I know we lost
treatments
Carrie
for when
Fisher.
people are sick.
I know we lost Prince.
Number one, so
but
that they're confident that they'll quickly
Murder
get back
hornets.
on their feet. And then number two, ultimately getting a vaccine. When that happens, I think that things will absolutely take off. Lastly, again, I
airplane
wanted
joke.
to thank you all for the support with the payroll support program. We've never had a furlough or a layoff or a pay cut in our history at Southwest, and we sure don't want to have that now. So
Good.
thank
They
you
didn't lay
again,
anybody
and
off.
We're going to fight the good fight here.
And
Southwest
thank you,
is actually
Gary.
a really
Great
good
job
company.
you do for a long time. Thank you very much. Deborah, please.
And I say that because they extended.
We've made amazing progress
Dr.
together
Scarf.
with the American people and with
What-
you all. As you heard the president described, new
Is she wearing one?
hospitalizations are down month over month by 50%.
I think so.
Mortality, the fatalities that we all grieve are down significantly week over week. We're excitingly really finding governors and mayors being able to respond to the epidemic in a new way. Proactive testing, finding new cases, contact tracing, and stopping outbreaks. We're seeing
All
that
the
over
stuff
and
we
over
should have
again,
been doing
county
at the
by county,
beginning.
metro by metro. I think we're working with all of the healthcare providers because just as we want to open up America safely, we want to make sure every American has access to
around.
healthcare. We want to see our babies immunized. We
It's
want to
a
see them
scarf.
at their well baby
It's gotta
checkups.
be
We
a
want to see
scarf, or I
pregnant
don't know
women
anything.
cared for
I
in their
hate 2020.
appointments, and we want to see the hospitals back caring for people and doing elective
wanna see your
surgery and
front.
ensuring people are getting their cancer screenings. So as we open
He
up
said in
the
the
economy,
most
we also want to
unsexy
ensure the
pickup line
Americans
ever.
are not only COVID-free, but have all their health care taken care of.
So you're seeing much improved numbers.
Much improved numbers, and I think this proactive testing, having enough tests available not only for diagnosing at the hospitals and clinic, but having an abundance
always
of
had enough
testing
tests
available to really be able to do what we
And
talk
they're
about is
beautiful.
proactive surveillance,
They're
going into nursing
perfect.
homes and testing 100% of the residents, 100% of the workers.
We're still not doing that,
Working
but-
in food processing plants to test everyone that is there and really stopping outbreaks before they start. This asymptomatic piece is unique among diseases, and we have that in HIV, we have it in this particular respiratory disease. And so you have to test proactively to find the asymptomatic. No one intends
Yeah.
to infect others.
Yes.
They just don't know they're infected themselves.
Instead
and
of
so
the
working
FDA
with
blocking
states
the
and governors
results
and
of
mayors
the
to really
asymptomatic, which is
set
what
up
they're
those
doing
testing
with my
sites has
kids.
really been extraordinary. And having a testing available at that level, I think we're about
I know.
350,
Gap lady
400,000
sitting right across
tests
from her right now
a day.
going like,
We're up
I
to
like that
having
scarf. Is that
tested
from the fall
5% of
line?
every American in less than
That's
2
This is from our
fantastic.
Corona line for the spring.
It's great. I wish the press would report
It's
it.
great.
But someday they will. Someday they're going to do that.
The press
Thank you very
literally
much,
does
Deborah. I
nothing but
appreciate
report
it.
it.
A lot of progress has been made. Great job you're doing. Thank you. Please.
Yeah,
Hi,
we need the PPE.
Mr. President. I'm Brian Goldner with Hasbro, and thank you for your leadership and
Did he bring
for working
toys?
closely with the private sector to reopen the American economy. You may know that Hasbro is a nearly 100-year-old Rhode Island-based play and entertainment company with brands like Monopoly, Transformers, Play-Doh, Peppa Pig, and Nerf.
Cranium.
And it's really an honor to be here today.
Oh, they got rid of
It's
cranium.
also an incredible honor to see how our brands are resonating with consumers, more people getting together and connecting and playing with games and brands like Play-Doh as they spend time together. We were talking as we were coming together today just how people are making new.
And we've created this special doll in honor of you, President Trump. It's the President doll. And when you pull the string, it says phrases like, "I'm not responsible," and "Science is hard."
The support that we've seen from Secretary Mnuchin as well. You know, from health screenings to interactive handbooks, safe return to the office, safe social distancing.
They've got toys on their chart. Hold on, kids. Here's their chart. Coming back. There it is. I just love it. Look, there's the potato heads. There's the Monopoly guy. This is awesome. I don't even care what he's talking about. I'm just so happy to see toys.
Opening guidelines. I'm especially proud of our Hasbro safety folks and operations. We've set a standard in our factories and warehouse operations across the country. for consumer goods manufacturers. In fact, we're training other consumer goods manufacturers to help them open safely in the U.S. from Massachusetts to Texas. Again, I'm very pleased to be here. I'm very proud of our employees. They're all very excited about getting back to work. And we've been working all along, and as our factories closed down during certain times over the last few months, our teams came together to make face shields in our factories, 50,000 a week, to give to healthcare workers, and we've made good use of those factories, and we're now happy to see them back up and running. And so thank you again, and thank you for leadership.
That's really great. We appreciate that, too. Thank you very much.
Trump's doing it. Trump's doing the monopoly, man.
Hi, thank you, Mr. President. Great to be here. Thank you to the team, your leadership team as well. And look, I'm here representing our great franchisees for both brands, Dunkin' and Baskin. I don't think a lot of people realize that we're 100% franchised, and so big brand names powered by small independent business owners. And
who's this guy? I missed it.
We've got a saying in the company that we think we've been getting America running for nearly 70 years. And when this crisis hit, it was about keeping the communities running, but it was also about getting America working again. And so we've been guided by one simple principle. If on the next slide that we've been talking about is. It's been about doing the right thing in the communities we serve, and 90% of our restaurants have remained open during the crisis. We've rallied around that mantra of people over profits and doing the right thing there. And look, we're very proud that we didn't have to furlough or do layoffs during all of that. And look, our great franchisees, I'm really proud of the work that they've been doing in the communities they serve. They live in these communities. They're proud to be there. They serve probably coffee, donuts, ice cream to over 300 hospitals. They continue to do that. They raised $1.5 million for food banks, including the Capitol Food Bank here in our backyard here in D.C. as well. And so,
giant microphone's in the way.
As somebody said, we're starting to see a lot of hope and optimism in our business today. We're seeing really good signs of encouraging green shoots right now. We're working with the franchisees, again, to get America working again, looking at a really aggressive hiring campaign over the summer. But I'd say it's three areas that we focused on that was really a good North Star for us. And the first was we got in early on a lot of the safety measures, making investments in safety measures as brand standards across both brands. But for us and brands like Dunkin' and Baskin, our mission is to give the consumer as many ways to access your brand on their terms. We know there's a lot of consumers out there that have varying levels of comfort in terms of what's going on right now. So whether it's drive-through, curbside, pick-up windows, delivery, you'll hear a lot about digital today as well. Giving the consumer as many options, as many choices to access your brand is important. And I think the last thing, I'll repeat what a few other people said, thank you to you and your administration and the federal government for the PPP program. That has really allowed us to keep our franchisees standing up, allowed them to continue.
Yeah, their chart also said people over profits, Chris, which I'm sure people who own the stock are just loving that.
Second version of this that sailed through the House, the flexibility plan on PPP. I'm just hoping that it sails through cleanly and gets to your desk to be signed, because that's another great example of helping small independent business owners like our franchisees keep America working right now. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, David, very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, President Trump, and really appreciate the invitation to talk about reopening businesses in America. My name is Rodney McMullen. I'm the chairman and CEO of Kroger. I represent over 500,000 associates, and we've hired over 100,000 people over the last 2 months. And our job is to keep our supply chain operating, fresh, affordable food and essentials. And we operate 2,800 stores, 35 manufacturing plants, 44 distribution facilities.
She's holding cupcake holders.
If you look at our associates, we've invested over $800 million in safety procedures and rewards for our associates over the last 8-9 weeks. Obviously, we all do everything we can to make sure we keep our employees safe.
Yeah, he just read something about
on a daily basis. If you look at our customers, we have 11 million people a day that come into our stores. So the things that we're doing to protect our employees, we're also doing the same thing to protect our customers. We use every available way of trying to remind customers on social distancing, limiting the number of people in the stores. We have an in-store radio network that every 15 minutes we remind people of social distancing. But everything that we can do, we're trying to remind people to stay safe and do things.
Healthcare workers to sing it.
We also are supporting our business and continuing to make sure that we have a viable, strong business over time and supporting the communities that we operate in. Over the last year, working with local food banks, we've been able to provide over the last 3 years over 1 billion meals with local food banks, and it's something that in the United States, no one should have to go to bed tonight hungry. We have so many resources as a country,
so don't bitch at me
and
if I eat a
together we
cheeseburger
can
at
eliminate
11:30.
food waste. And when we eliminate food waste, we can make sure no one goes to bed hungry. Obviously, as one of the things that we thought it would be helpful to pay forward, as a company that's operated throughout the pandemic, we've learned a lot. And one of the things you'll learn is be agile and move quickly. And if you think you should do something, you probably should do it. With that, we developed a 59-page blueprint that we made public, and we've shared it. And I know the other day I was on the Today Show, and they asked me like 4 times, why would you do that?
Wouldn't it be called the
And
Other Day
one of
Show?
the things that was incredibly helpful for us is other retailers across the world that were in front of us from the pandemic standpoint was nice enough to share their learnings with us. And we thought it was only fair and appropriate for us to share our learnings with others. We've had over 100,000 site visits on that. We've had over 26,000 individuals and companies download that. We get a ton of notes from small companies in terms of their appreciation. If you look at all the companies.
Yeah, Kroger, most of my groceries come from Kroger right now. But on the way down, the drive down, we stopped at a Costco between Seattle. Where were we? Somewhere in Oregon? Wherever we were, it was Oregon because we didn't pay tax on the hot dog. No, everybody in Costco had the mask on. They seriously do the thing where you can't come in unless you have a mask. And Kevin Lee Daughter, we just stopped by there to use the bathroom. But Kevin Lee Daughter's like, I feel so much better in here because everywhere else, every grocery store you go into, I don't know if it's like this where you are, but you walk around and then there's somebody without a mask and they're walking right, and they never respect personal space. They just walk right by you without the mask. So anyway, back to reality.
That businesses, really a cross-section of American businesses collected here, are getting back to...
Oh, that's Kevin. Nobody cares what Kevin's have to say. Yeah, but if I have to go to a shopping place, Costco's going to be my default if I have no other choice. If I can't order it or whatever and I need something ASAP sort of thing, I'm going to Costco because everybody else there is going to be wearing the mask, and I appreciate that. Thanks, Costco. If you'd like to sponsor me, Costco, you can.
Versus back to work. And so the question then becomes, and it's the last thing I'll say, that the people in this room are saying, yes, but will we have demand for our product? And what we learned today in the personal income report that Larry said is because you required historic policy action, we got money to people who needed it while they were laid off because of big unemployment insurance checks and because of the $1,200 checks that we mailed people. They have the income now that the economies are starting again to go out and demand product. And so we're very, very bullish on what's going on.
This is why I'm not
with
out
the
demanding
restarts.
product.
Thank you very much, Kevin.
But I'm
Appreciate
saving.
it.
Hey, you're
Mr.
welcome.
President, thank you. On behalf of 7,000 small business owners, Wyndham Hotels and Resorts is the world's largest franchisor, great state of New Jersey. And we have, if I could have the first slide up, remarkably remained open throughout this crisis, much like Dave and Duncan. Our hotels here in the United States really never closed. We were serving frontline workers. We were serving the National Guard, emergency workers.
Wasn't this guy here last week too?
And a large part of that had to do, if I could have the next slide, to the
These are
support
just ads
that
for the companies.
And we really have to, the industry has to call out Secretary Mnuchin, and you've been there for us all along. You've listened to us. The PPP Act has been monumental. 95% of our franchisees have applied for either a PPP or an EIDL loan. And we estimate from the surveys that we're hearing back that 80% of them have received one of those. And they view it as an absolute lifeline. So what, as Dave said, is most important. This is going to be a long recovery, even though we've remained open. the most important thing for our franchisees is seeing this amendment to the 75-25 rule, which is in the bill. Seeing the expansion of that loan term from 2 years to 5 years, I mean, that's critical for our small business owners. And extending, as the Secretary and I were talking earlier, our ability to rehire those employees that we have had to furlough, to be able to bring them back, not have it expire on June 30, but have that continue till the end of the year is critical for us. We also think the idea of a temporary travel tax to spur leisure travel is important, and we know the administration is in favor of that. And bringing back the full deductibility of necessary business expenses to spur business travel would be very, very helpful to opening our country up again, because as Oscar said, as Gary said, just as planes are safe, hotels are safe. They're safe because we've been safe throughout this crisis with again, 90% of our hotels operating at low occupancy. Demand is coming back, but we need those consumers to feel safe. And we just thank you for everything that you and Secretary and Congress is doing on this industry's behalf, because it's going to be a tough road back.
Well, it's going away, but I think we'll have vaccines, and I think we're going to have therapeutics, and maybe even beyond that, maybe a cure. And it won't be in the long distance, so I really think that's going to be helpful. And regardless, it's going away, but that would certainly speed up the process. So
it's not going
we
away.
Appreciate
also.
it, Jeff. Thank you very much. Gene?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for bringing together so many great companies, different sectors of the economy that some of them have been affected really very different ways during the pandemic. Some able to stay open, some really having great difficulty doing it. But one thing we've heard today, and we had conversations earlier before the meeting got underway, I think all of them are very, very focused on safety of their customers, safety of their employees. I don't think there's been a time when American businesses have been as focused on safety as they are right now. And that's a great thing for bringing customers back, bringing workers back. It's been a focus of ours at the Labor Department actually since January. We've tried to help American workers through this crisis in so many different ways, but as early as January, we were providing guidelines to businesses. We've now put out guidelines to 16 different specific industries on how they can reopen safely. We'll continue to do that so that companies understand what's expected of them, can have confidence in what they need to do, and same for workers. And we're mindful that not every company is going to focus the right way on these things, so we'll continue to respond to employee concerns, complaints as they come in. As Larry and Kevin said, Mr. President, we've turned a corner. We put out unemployment numbers yesterday showing that for the first time since February, the number of people on unemployment dropped. And that's great. The number of filing is still much higher than we want.
That's a good sign, isn't it?
We've turned the corner, Mr. President, and we'll get back there to that extraordinary economy that you built so recently, and we're going to do it safely.
Thank you, Gene, very much. A man who's done a very good job, Microsoft. That's a good job they've done, Deborah, right? Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. And yeah, I just think this is a fascinating conversation because it really shows how each industry is unique. Yeah. And as an economy, we need to meet the needs of every industry and put the economy together. Not surprisingly, when you're in a business and you're in a sector that creates the tools that people can use to work from home, it's not difficult to have your own employees work from home, and that's what we've been doing. But I think our mission in this first phase has really been much broader than that. It's been twofold. One is to provide the data resources and the technology to support the public health needs of the country, from public health agencies to hospitals to the researchers, as you mentioned, who are on the quest for a vaccine and therapeutics and the like. And I think more broadly, it has been to work with, frankly, many of these companies around this table to sustain the economy these past few months so that employees could work from home, so students could study from home, so that the government could operate from home when that was needed. Now, it's all about phase two. And I think you put it well. It's all about both protecting public health and reopening the economy. And here we see, in some ways, something that may look more like a dial than a switch as we go through a series of phases. We think we'll likely continue to see different industries with different needs. We do see technology playing some new and important roles. And on this slide, which you'd have to stand within 3 feet of to read, you'll see the 9 different areas where we see different public health needs. But there's 3 I want to call out because I think they're especially important for the private sector.
Keep it simple, put the monopoly man on it. Like, this is just human beings, especially Trump, will not absorb this at all. And he even commented, he even said, but you got to be within 3 feet to read it. This is Microsoft. When we're done, YouTube, what if Microsoft designed the iPod box? I think it was iPod, or it's got billions of hits on YouTube, but look up what if Microsoft designed Apple box.
Employees need this, so we're now partnering with United Health Group so it can be made available to everybody.
Hey, Ruth Ann.
The second layer that I think is really important for the private sector is the tracing capability. And we're seeing both companies like Microsoft and
we're almost getting back to Trump, and we'll see if he takes any questions. I think he will, because he was probably watching TV in between his denouncement of China, which was supposed to be a press conference, which was just a statement, and this. So everybody on all the channels was saying, like, he didn't answer questions. Is he uncomfortable with the whole Floyd thing? I don't know.
Capture to the next slide. We want people to be comfortable using this technology.
Oh, there we go.
We need to protect people's privacy.
Here comes a picture.
So that they know that they're not putting their personal information at risk when they use technology in this new way. So we're very committed to doing that. In closing, I would say when you step back from this is also the right time to close the broadband gap, which you're addressing through stimulus efforts, and I think there are more. It's the right time to invest in more skilling, because we are going to see more jobs demand more digital skills than we did 6 months ago. And it's the right time to maintain the focus, as you have set, on testing. You noted the progress. We've noticed the progress. We appreciate the progress. But I think even more than the progress,
this is the
frankly
Microsoft
the
guy
high
praising
ambition
Trump
level the
and telling him to
administration has
concentrate on
set
it's your
to
idea,
sustain
and
that
it's a really great
progress.
idea.
Because I think
So,
by fall,
now Trump
if we want
heard
students
about
to
himself
return to
and
college
see his body language
campuses,
there,
if
he's
we
like,
want
oh.
more employees to feel safe in the workplace,
That was
we're going to
me.
see
That
more
was me with a good
private
thing.
sector institutions wanting the ability to test people
Now he's tuned
even
back
when
in.
they're asymptomatic. And so that progress, I think, will be another one of the fundamental
met Brad
ingredients
Smith.
that we'll need. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And your first picture was so beautiful. The picture of the White House, I don't think I've ever seen one more beautiful than that. I don't know. You must have something
That's the
very
takeaway.
special over at Microsoft.
Such a
but
beautiful
wasn't that
picture
beautiful?
of the White House.
We appreciate it. Thank you very much, Brad. Thank you very much. You have any questions, please?
Yes.
Any for the great executives?
No.
Mr. President?
Yeah.
It's obviously been a long day for a lot of Americans, but I'd like to give you an opportunity to address some of your tweets from this morning. You tweeted, "When the looting starts, the shooting starts." How would you know that phrase and not know its racially charged history?
Well, I've heard that phrase for a long time. I don't know where it came from, where it originated. I view that
In
phrase as...
1967, the Miami police
Well, I don't know.
chief
I've also
used it.
heard from many other places, but
No.
I've heard it for a long time, as most people have. And frankly, it means when there's looting, people get shot and they die. And if you look at what happened last night and the night before, you see that. It's very common. And that's the way that was meant, and that's the way I think it was supposed to be meant. But I don't know where it came from. I don't know where it originated. I wouldn't know a thing like that. But I will say
I thought you knew
it's very
everything.
accurate in the sense that when you do have looting, like you had last night, people often get shot and they die, and that's not good, and we don't want that to happen. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. In the past, you've criticized NFL players for their protest against police brutality. Given what we've seen with George Floyd and what we saw with the delays in the case of Ahmaud Arbery, does that change your views around those NFL protests? And also, given that you had a message for those in the streets in Minneapolis,
question.
do you have a statement to make about the police that are involved in such police brutality incidents?
Yeah, I didn't like what I saw at all. I thought it was a terrible thing, a terrible picture. I think that it's sad in so many ways from the standpoint of
Will you kneel
the
down
family.
in solidarity now?
When you look at George Floyd and his family and you see
I bet Biden would.
what that's done to them, just a terrible thing. He was in tremendous pain, obviously, and couldn't breathe. It was very obvious to anybody that watched it. It was a very, very sad thing for me to see that. We also
Watching
know
him
that
trying to be empathetic is a
most
very, very sad
policemen, you see the great job they do. They do a fantastic job, but this was a terrible insult to police and to policemen. And I know the Justice Department, well, as you know, it's a local case, but I know the Justice Department is also looking at it very strongly.
Does that change your views around like the NFL protests?
Say it again, I can't.
Does that change your views around the NFL protest on this issue? They were peaceful protests. Does that change your stance on that at all?
Yeah, it should be a peaceful protest. I think really in memory of George Floyd, I think it should be peaceful. It's
Missed the question.
It's terrible. He spoke with his family today. Terrific people. I think it's so bad for the memory when you see a thing like that going on. And
If you haven't
hopefully
seen
that
Biden
won't
talking
happen
about the
tonight.
family, watch
And
that.
as you know, the National Guard has arrived.
Terrific people.
And they're there, but hopefully everything will be very different tonight. Last night was very sad on many different levels.
Yeah.
Yeah, please. Yeah, please.
Empathy.
In Rose Garden, for example, we see tensions with China, with the virus now over Hong Kong. Are we witnessing the start of a Cold War between the
Hong
United
Kong.
States and China?
Well, we're certainly not happy with what happened with respect to China. They have a virus that started, and when it got out of control, perhaps, I assume that's what happened, it got out of control, whichever way, and they stopped it from going to China, but they didn't stop it from going to the rest of the world. So nobody likes that. That was not good. They did not do a good job. So I don't know if it was incompetence or it was done for some other reason, but I know that I didn't see anything in Beijing and I didn't see anything in other Chinese cities, but I did see them in New York, in London, in Paris. We saw them in Spain and we saw them in Italy. We saw the enemy, the invisible enemy come out. And all over the world, 186 countries and probably more than that now.
That's
and they stopped it in China, but they didn't stop it going to Europe and the United States and the rest of the world. So what's that all about? And we have to do a very strong study and figure that out.
Cliff Clavin punchline.
Are you going to eliminate
The tagline,
special
catchphrase.
status for Hong Kong? I know you announced the measures.
Well, we're talking about doing a lot of things, and we're not. We're very, very saddened by what happened to our relationship with China. They should have never allowed this to happen. They could have stopped it at the source.
And
we asked them to come in and help
about
them.
Hong Kong?
And they didn't want help from anybody,
What about
even the
Hong Kong?
World Health Organization. They wanted to go in and they were delayed. But we asked to go in very specifically, and they didn't want any help. They didn't need any help, and then it got out of control in some form. But it didn't seem to get out of control when it came to going to other parts of China because it didn't go
It's
very
not-
far.
not true
But it did come to the
at
United
all.
States. It did come to Europe. It went all over the world.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
Mr.
Was
President.
your conversation with the Floyd family after the Rose Garden event, what was the thing you were trying to impress upon them, and did they have a message for you?
Well, I just expressed my sorrow. That was a horrible thing to witness. And I've seen bad things. I've seen many bad things. And that was just a horrible thing to witness and to watch. And it would certainly look like there was no excuse for it.
Mr. President,
Did they have a
Mr.
message
President.
for you at all? Did they communicate?
They were grieving very much. Look, it's their brother. And they were grieving. And I could see very much that they loved their brother. Okay?
Mr. President,
Yeah, in the
do-
back,
do we-
please. Go ahead, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. The United States and Brazil right now have more cases of COVID-19 than any other country. Can you understand me? I want.
Brazil, you said?
Yes. My question is, there are many comparisons between the way you and the Brazilian president handled the pandemic. Do you think it's a fair comparison? And how long do you think the travel ban will be in place?
Well, the Brazilian president is a friend of mine, and he's working very
That's the
hard,
important
and they
part.
do have a big outbreak.
Bolsonaro buddy.
And I can tell you, he's a very good man.
Very good, fine.
And he loves his country incredibly well. They've had a hard time.
It's a
There's no
beautiful
question about
people.
it. They went a different route than we did.
He is
We did a
against.
shutdown. They decided to do it a different way. They're having a very hard time.
He is against social distancing at the moment where the
Could
Brazil
you
is.
take that just for a second?
Sure.
Yes.
He is against social distancing and lockdown at the moment where the numbers in Brazil are skyrocketing. What do you think about that?
Well, he went a different way. Brazil went a different way, and certainly they're having a hard time. I don't want to be critical of anybody because I have great respect for him. And he's
Because
doing
our
a very
death
good
rate
job with the
is
country that he got hit.
substantially
He got
higher.
hit like everybody else. They went about it differently than us. I closed down from China. I closed down from
Stephanie, we
Europe.
did.
And we did a lot of close downs. We had to close down from Brazil. You're asking about Brazil. We closed down, as you know, the other night from Brazil. But he's a
friend of mine.
tough time they're having in Brazil. It's a great country, great place, great people. But
great
they're having
guy.
a very tough time.
How long do you think the ban will be in place for Brazil? And are
I
you
hope
also
we can-
thinking Russia and,
Yeah,
and
I'd
India?
like to take the ban off as soon as we can. Okay? As soon as we can. Yes, please.
Yeah, Mr. President, do you believe that there's a problem with police brutality in America? And if you do, what would you do about it?
Well, I think that police brutality certainly is something that we've been hearing about, reading about, studying. I have for many years. And we all have to say, and I think most people would admit, that most of the policemen and women that I've seen have been outstanding.
Okay, but
when you
we're
have
not
something like
talking
this
about
happen, you
them.
really, you look at it and you
Talking
just
about
say, how does a thing
brutality.
like that happen? Because it just seems so bad to watch. But our police have been very outstanding. Our crime rates are way down right now in this country, and way down. The police have done a great job. Something like this happens, and you really say, that's so bad in so many different ways, and so unfortunate.
You see the...
Yeah,
the
please, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. President, it certainly seems like you're sympathetic to some of the frustration expressed by the protesters last night. I want to ask you, first off, do you think there were good people out protesting in Minneapolis last night?
Did you say, were
there good people among the protesters? And then also more broadly, what is your message to Black Americans and others who just are really frustrated and saddened to see another video of a black man being killed in police custody?
Well, certainly there were a lot of different people, and there were good people too, and they were protesting, and they were protesting for the right reason. They were protesting in honor of a man, George Floyd, where something happened that shouldn't have happened. In my opinion, from what I've seen, certainly something happened that shouldn't have happened. And yeah, you had a lot of people out there that were protesting out of sorrow, and then you had people that got out of control, some people. And I think they did a great disservice to their state and to their city and to really our country, what they did last night. And we brought in the National Guard today, and they're there, and that won't happen again. It can't happen again. We can never let that happen again. That was run
good
by
up until that.
the mayor of a city, and it got, in all fairness to him, he was in a tough position, but I don't think they were very well prepared. But we brought in the National Guard. They'll be very prepared tonight. Thank you all very much. Thank you, please. Thank you.
Mr. President, would you support a civil Justice Department investigation?
Mr. President,
Come on,
Pattern
quickly.
practice investigation?
Come on, guys, let's go.
Okay. So that was that. Okay, well, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Not much to that. Nothing unexpected. There are very fine protesters in there, but again, as long as you don't kneel, protests are fine. So don't burn things down and don't kneel, somewhere in that middle ground. That's how you're supposed to protest. That's the lesson for today. Okay, let's see. I think you guys are almost caught up with me. So Twitter feed seems really slow right now, but who knows? I'm not in charge of any of this. The fact that this is even working right now on my laptop is so great. Yeah, he just shut it down and rolled the arms. And if he could walk out of there, he would. Yeah, sounds like his response to Charlottesville. Yeah, except in Charlottesville, he said there were many fine people on both sides. In this case, he's attacked the arsonists as thugs. He never attacked anybody on the other side in Charlottesville. He never said, those are terrible Nazis. We don't like them. Never did. Unless I'm maybe he did at some point, but not in the initial, not at the Infrastructure Week conference and not at the conference immediately after Charlottesville happened. So, anyway. Yeah, so he did do the there were fine people in there, but he didn't do the many sides. I mean, what's the other side? The police? I guess he did, because he was already talking about how great the police... What do you think about the police brutality? Well, you know, there's a lot of fine policemen Yeah, I know. What do you think about the brutality? And he didn't answer the question from the reporter on, do you look differently upon the NFL protesters now peacefully kneeling? All right. Okay. Yeah, he has had a tough week. We've all had a tough week. My week's still going. I got to pack up, guys. Literally, the whole house. I got to get going. So I doubt there's going to be anything else today. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. Who knows? So we'll see you on the live stream. Maybe not until Tuesday. I haven't updated the Billy Joel thing in a couple of days. Mea culpa. What are you going to do? Sorry, Rich Mac. I know. You're not getting your money's worth out of this, except you are getting your time's worth out of this. I'm stretching this thing out. You know what I'm going to do for you, Rich? I'm going to go on right now. I'm going to put up a vote. I think we're almost done with the second round. I think it's time for the Sweet 16. I'm going to look at the second round. I'm going to clean it up. You know what? I might as well do that right now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Let's see if it will cooperate with me. One moment. Okay. Give me a second here. See where we are. Brackets. I'm going to drag it over so you guys can see it. Could not load the bracket. Could not load the bracket. Really? Login. Okay. I got to log in. Sorry, guys. I can't let you see my login. Could not load bracket. Dashboard. And BJ Madness. And there she blows. Okay, hold on, guys. Let's see if you're interested. I'm done talking about Trump for the week. We're done. Let's go back to this. Let's see if I can make you guys see this. And boom, there we go. Okay, we're in. Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you, Joanna. I don't need the headphones anymore. Okay, so we got some matchups going for the Sweet 16 here. Don't ask me why. Going to take on the Stranger. Vienna will be taking on Say Goodbye to Hollywood or Careless Talk. We did have that vote. Let me look it up and see what the results of that vote were. And the way to do that is just go into the Twitters. You guys can do this at home as well. So in Twitter, we should be able just to search for hashtag Billy Joel Madness. And we'll see the results of that vote. This will be exciting for everyone involved. Billy Joel Madness, go to the latest. Okay, and the latest is... Okay, so My Life beat out She Got Away. She's Got Away. Let's see if that's updated. Okay, maybe I haven't had that vote yet. My Life is... Holy smokes, there's all kinds of things in here. Okay, so My Life beat out She's Got Away, so let's do that. Winner was My Life, and it was 51.6 to 48. Holy smokes, we'll just make that 52 to 48. That was a close one. She's Got Away is such a great song, though. It's a shame to see that go. But this is what has to happen. 48 to 52. And we'll close that up, and that's going to bring on a matchup between My Life and We Didn't Start the Fire. That's going to be a good one. Let's go back to Twitters and see what else was in there. Okay, so We Didn't Start the Fire beat out Allentown. I think we've got that in there, and I think we're all caught up with that. And so, Miami 2017. Oh, that's right, we went to overtime with that vote. So Miami 2017 against Goodnight Saigon. So let's just do a search for Saigon. And we should be able to find that pretty quickly. And Goodnight Saigon moves on, beats out Miami 2017, 69 to 31. Hold on. So Goodnight Saigon wins that one. 31 to 69. I'm giggling because that's the year I was born. Baby Grand and The Longest Time, I think we did that one as well. For some reason, these didn't save in here, but let's look up. Billy Joel Madness, we'll just look up Grand. And Longest Time hammered Baby Grand, 75 to 25. I don't think Baby Grand was ever even released on the airwaves, so that makes sense. Hey, Joan, is who really rich? No, Rich, I'm really laughing. I'll go, okay, you guys are having this without me. Okay, I'm busy. I'm busy, people. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, so longest time, Baby Grand 75.25. So Baby Grand is gone, longest time, 25.75, and that sets up a matchup between the longest time and Goodnight Saigon. The longest time should win that one. You may be right against Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. I remember this, and I think Italian won, but let's find out. No, hold on, that's Big Shot. That's 2 ago. Did we not do this one? Come on, learn how to spell, Kevin. Big Shot and Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. Have we not had this vote yet? Well, there's a vote for us. Okay. Oh, longest time did dominate, 75.25. So it looks like we haven't done You May Be Right against Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. So I'll run that and see if there's anything else left over on this side from the first round. So it's still Rock and Roll to Me. We'll take on Just the Way You Are. Only the Good Die Young against Piano Man. Vienna against, let's see, we got to look up Say Goodbye to Hollywood against Careless Talk. So we'll look for Hollywood. And have we not had that one either? I thought we did. Okay. I know I posted this because I remember last time I was like, where is this? No, we haven't done that one either. So we got 2 votes to do. Okay. Okay, you guys are just having, I don't know what's going on in the chat room. So you guys keep talking amongst yourselves. I'm gonna post these 2 so we can get done with this round and move on to the Sweet 16. So 2 votes coming up. Last 2 votes. Yeah, we'll make it to Billy Joel Madness. And it was what? Let me get this right. Say Goodbye to Hollywood against Careless Talk. Oh, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm saying goodbye to Hollywood. I'm leaving. I'll be back. That was just Careless Talk on my part. See the way I just sewed that all together? Okay. And let's link to the full bracket. And we're going to save the full bracket, which I probably didn't do last time, which is why these things weren't updated. So we're going to share the link. Careless Talk, that's what you heard about me. Talking, talking, talking. Okay, this is a new Twitter format for me, so let's put this in here. Say goodbye to Hollywood as you go. Talking, talking, talking. Okay, Careless Talk, one day. Oh, I can choose the hours and the minutes. I'm not going to. Okay, so let's copy all of this. We'll do the other one quickly too. So we tweet that. You guys can vote now live on the Twitter site. And let's tweet the other one as well. We'll do both songs at once here. And where she be? The other one was Scenes from an Italian Restaurant against You May Be Right. I am right. Okay, so you may be right. I may be crazy, but it just may be a lunatic you're looking for. Turn out the lights. Don't try to save me. You may be wrong, but for all I know, no, you're wrong. You're definitely wrong. Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. A bottle of red, a bottle of white. Scenes from the White House. Scenes from Italian restaurants. Too many. Italian rest. I'll just leave out the rest. Ba-ba-boo. You may be right. Boom, 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 boom. So Scenes from an Italian Restaurant should walk away with that one, but I never know. I've been surprised in this before. Kevin, are you close to downtown LA? No, we're in Studio City. We're like Universal Studios is just over there. Here, I'll show. No, it's right there. Okay, you may be right. Versus Scenes from Italian Restaurant. Okay, on one more vote. Who gets to go to the dance? Sweet 16. You May Be Right versus Scenes from an Italian Restaurant, blah, 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 blah. That looks all correct. We's going to tweet that. And that's it. Cars got vandalized today. Oh, yeah, on downtown LA. Yeah, no, I've stayed away from all that. I haven't seen anything out here. I'm out in the boondocks, North Hollywood. Okay, so, yeah, go vote, everybody. Time for me to pack. What time is it? It's 3 o'clock. God, there's no time. I gotta pack up. I gotta move. We will see you Tuesday. Be good to each other. Be safe. Be nice. Have some food. Think of me when you chew. Scenes, yeah, Stephanie, get on there. Go vote. Let's see. Actually, what we can do is see if you guys are already voting. We'll track that because it should show up immediately. Okay, so far, one vote, Scenes from Italian Restaurant, is beating You May Be Right 100-0. Just one vote. And the other one is tied 0-0 because nobody's voted in Say Goodbye to Hollywood against Careless Talk. So, yeah, get out of here. Go vote, everybody. Get those numbers going up. We will see you probably on